It's that time of year again. The time of year where we all plan and strategize who is going to reach up and grab that elusive briefcase. Setting in motion a plethora of storyline possibilities, dream matchups, and generally exciting entertainment for the coming weeks and months. Because no one wants same night cash-ins anymore, right? Right? Here we'll analyse the 10 most interesting choices for the briefcase this year, and we're either cleverly or stupidly doing it before any qualifying matches have taken place. We'll see which one it is on June 7th. Now this is a personal one. I know we said we wouldn't, but here is my one personal inclusion. Look at him. After 10 years, this man in WWE still has so much potential still to be realised in the company. Grand Slam Finn may be getting on in years, he's approaching his mid-40s, yes, but look at him, he's still in immense shape and is still a 5-star match man on the roster. Personally, I don't think he's got a cat in hell's chance of even being in the match at present, what with him targeting the Intercontinental belt from Dom Mysterio. But for that reason, and the current power dynamic story currently playing out on TV, I would argue having him win that briefcase and parade around that clubhouse holding it would drive Dom and Liv's contingent mad. With even the potential cash-in on Dom's belt itself, but please WWE, do not do that. We see how that worked out for us in theory. Finn had all the potential to be a main event star among the caliber of Daniel Bryan or AJ Styles. A smaller, really good, technical 5-star match machine holding the belt down with match after match of high-class in-ring mastery. That could still happen, and with the current Judgment Day storyline, it can catapult Finn into being the babyface champion he was in NXT all those years ago. Hell, if Seth Rollins even takes the belt off Jey Uso, which is expected, then Finn cashing in on Seth would achieve this as well. Book it, Triple H! From one underutilized 5-star match machine to another, the legend that is AJ Styles. He's been severely underused these past few years, and injuries aside, that is a crime in my opinion. He has said he's not got a lot of his career left in him, but what's great about AJ is he's one of those wrestlers that no matter where he sits in the standings or the rankings, an instant inclusion in a world title scene is always believable. Money in the Bank gives AJ the opportunity to add another accolade to his already glittering career, but gives him the chance to end it with a final dream match against the current WWE Champion, John Cena. A man who has had 5-star classics with AJ in the past, and we have to have a final showdown between these two before John retires as well. What better way to set this match up than for AJ to do what John did all those years ago when he won the briefcase? Call his shot. Say to John, I'm cashing in this thing, you name the time and the place, and let's do this. A popular winner this one would be, and if you aren't sure why, then you might be a viewer based within the United States. If you were watching the international coverage of Monday Night Raw during the last year, you'd have seen a number of promo segments during the ad breaks from Carrion and Scarlett detailing their motivations and goals, which have helped build around the mythology of the pair as puppeteers on the roster. A number of choices that Carrion and Scarlett have made, such as changing up their look to parody their foes, referencing individuals on social media, or even cryptically teasing their next targets in the background, all whilst being entertaining and being genuinely weird and creepy, built up a social media following so much so that during the Andre the Giant Battle Royal during WrestleMania weekend, Carrion was the fans' choice to win it with the fans in attendance. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but the loss only increased the fans' desire to see this duo on our screens more than he has been, and there was that promo during the WrestleMania weekend as well, that went viral, as he let loose on Triple H predominantly and his lack of screen presence. So, a popular winner, even as a heel, makes his chances more appealing to win the briefcase, due to the nature of a potential cash-in, and with Jey Uso as champion currently, what better way to catapult this man to a much higher level than he has been. The current Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner is a phenomenal in-ring talent, but since getting drafted to SmackDown last year, has not had a consistent in-ring presence on SmackDown, only occasionally popping up on the show for a match or two. The highlight being his series with Andrade, another bit part player on the Blue brand.
That said, he is young, brash, and with a very high ceiling within the company, and hopefully the Battle Royal winner is on the road to a push. However, we currently find him on something I'm going to dub Miz Island, where his palling up with the Miz will eventually only lead to a match, no doubt, which hopefully he'll win. But he has joined the long line of superstars to have received similar experiences which didn't massively benefit them long term. The former NXT champion winning that briefcase would fit the archetype of everything you want from a winner. Young, up and coming, especially a heel, and someone who can carry that briefcase believably, winning a world title due to a cash-in. Sorry, Otis. Perhaps this is his year. He ticks all of the boxes. Oh, Drew. This man has been on quite the journey over the last couple of years and has been thoroughly entertaining whilst doing so. He just can't get out of his own way seemingly, and his story of underappreciated and constantly screwed over victim of the system is a decent one. I see big things for Drew this year, and his win over Damian Priest at WrestleMania 41 was just the start of it. Yes, I can see him being one of John Cena's last opponents this year, and I can also see him beating John as well, furthering his arrogant heel run and fueling his ambition further. Winning the Money in the Bank for the second year running and keeping hold of it for a longer period of time, dangling that sword of Damocles over a Jey Uso or even a John Cena, could make for an entertaining summertime. And although he won last year, he was screwed over by CM Punk. This time, his run with the briefcase would end far more memorably. Sami Zayn, the eternal underdog, has been teased and teased during the last few years for a world title potential. He has received the odd title shot. People knew he really wasn't going to win against Roman Reigns or Gunther, but this furthered this tease, and he remains ever so popular a performer, and someone that organically the crowd wants to see reach the top in a Daniel Bryan-esque way. His friendship with Jey Uso is just itching to be explored, with him owning that briefcase, whilst Jey is champion. And picture this scenario. Jey is left beaten and battered by Seth or Braun, for example, and after narrowly escaping the title with a roll-up finish, let's say against Seth, a post-match beatdown ensues with Sami and Jimmy Uso coming down to make the save. Then, Sami has a thought and batters Jimmy and Jey with the briefcase, cashes in and wins the World Heavyweight Championship, shocking the world. It is akin to CM Punk against Jeff Hardy vibes when he cashed in all those years ago, and would lead to a really interesting and entertaining program with Jey. Failing that, Sami could revisit his debut match on the main roster with John Cena for the US title all those years ago and target him, but I prefer the former personally. Man oh man, this guy is a star. In the space of a few months, he's gone from indie sensation to global superstar. His nefarious action and chaos only garner crowd chants for more and more and more violence from a wrestler who is so damn cool and carries himself like an absolute anomaly, but one who is the breakout male star of the last year in my opinion. I'm not sure how long they can hold this guy back from being an organic babyface, such is the reaction that he gets, but for now, stick to what's working, I say. Carnage and chaos and an insatiable appetite for beating people down, no longer in the service of the Bloodline or Solo Sikoa solely, but for Jacob Fatu. His possession of the United States title should not put people off him owning both the briefcase and the title at the same time either, because him having both would absolutely serve his story development with Solo, becoming more and more jealous and unhinged at his former heavy eclipsing him. Perhaps a ruined cash-in due to Solo interference perhaps? Further powering his audience sympathy for wanting him to succeed? Not unlike another fan favourite crowd's chance for success. From the moment LA Knight slapped the great Bray Wyatt twice around the face and said 2-for-1 special, the mainstream audience found out what we who watched NXT and TNA already knew, that this man has charisma oozing out of him. Gone are the cries from ex-wrestlers that he's just a rip-off of former stars, but here is a man who has organically gotten over with the fans off his own back, has held gold now on the main roster twice and looked the part, has come out of feuds as the victor and is within touching distance of the main event scene. In other words, he's ready. And his ability to still garner some of the loudest reactions across the world when he enters the building shows he isn't just catchphrases and merch, all of which have gone down well by the way, but he's a bona fide star waiting for the trigger to be pulled. He was the fans' choice to win in London in 2023, and the roof would have exploded if he had done it. 2025 would easily go down as one of the most popular ever Money in the Bank briefcase winners too, should he do it. And wouldn't a tease of a John Cena LA Knight cash-in after all of Cena's endorsements over the last couple of years lead to some really cool good promo segments? Now, we're cheating a bit with this entry, being that it is a dual entry, but such is the nature of these two sitting where they are at their newly formed faction alongside Paul Heyman. It is an either-or situation, but they are being positioned as the big bads of Monday Night Raw for the next year or so, clearly, and have in recent weeks made a beeline straight away for Jey Uso's World Heavyweight Championship. Now, they haven't been successful just yet, due to additional warring with CM Punk and Sami Zayn, but it isn't outside the realms of possibility to expect that one of these two, most likely Seth, will be the man to dethrone Jey Uso at some point. Seth has won the briefcase in the past, yes, and successfully cashed it in, yes, so little argument can be made beyond if he's in the match he's likely winning it, and an easy story can be told with a tease cash in as well. But Braun, well, he ticks every single box you would want in a Money in the Bank cash in. He's young, he's up and coming, he's a heel, which makes it easier to cash in the first place, and he's someone the crowd seems to want more of. And if Seth does dethrone Jey Uso, and the Braun has the briefcase, an intriguing Braun, Seth and Paul Heyman story is just waiting to be told there, akin to the Evolution breakup in 2005. So here we are. And unfortunately, I feel this is the most likely winner on this list. Unfortunately. Can I say that any more times? So, cards on the table, I am not a fan of Logan Paul, so inherent bias out of the way. I don't like watching his matches, I don't like watching him on my screen for a multitude of reasons anyway, but call me the exception to the rule, I don't buy into the hype that he's a good wrestler either. I think he's been found out the more we've seen him in the ring. Athletic? Yes, undoubtedly. Can he promote himself and his wares? Yes, unfortunately. Sorry, there's that word again. But he is the definition of a Marmite performer in this day and age. Someone who's used his celebrity clout to gain into a sport that he probably doesn't merit being in, and he's just using it to promote what he is and what he isn't outside of the ring. So with that all out of the way, let's treat this as if it happens, what would the positives be? Well, if WWE does do this, it would gain them social media numbers, I guess, and it gives them headlines, end of story. So if WWE does do this, let's try and think of any positives that could come out of it. Well, it would do them social media numbers, I guess, and it would give them headlines of a certain variety, whether they would want them or not. Okay, good stuff out of the way. The bad. Here is a non-wrestler possessing the world title, just so he could parade it around on podcasts. A title that needs credible champions at this point to establish itself whilst being relatively new. His in-ring IQ is not good either, and people dog Jey Uso's in-ring ability. Just wait for Logan Paul's main event matches. Another part-time champion in an era where fans don't want them, and finally, post WrestleMania 41, when fans' enthusiasm, let's say, is not as high as it was 12 months ago, this would be a terrible time to do this. A year ago, maybe they couldn't have got away with it due to the goodwill they had, but they don't need any more negative focus on the booking philosophy of the company at the very least, especially at the moment. Unfortunately, and there is that word again, I do feel that WWE has been soft teasing this very eventuality, and I am expecting the internet to explode on June the 8th after Money in the Bank. God, I hope I'm wrong. And that's our list. Did you agree or disagree with any of our choices? Please let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.